Are your finances about to get squeezed even tighter? This past week, the U.S. economy delivered several big headlines that could change the way you spend, save, and even think about your job security. From rising tariffs driving up everyday costs, to the middle class cutting back, to workers reporting record levels of financial stress, these are the top 5 economic news stories you need to know right now. Stick around, because understanding how these shifts impact your personal finances can help you make smarter money moves in the weeks ahead. Tariff pressures intensify. Consumers feeling the squeeze. A beige book report from the Federal Reserve, published the 3rd of September, 2025, reveals widespread economic strain across the U.S. economy, attributed largely to escalating tariffs and rising input costs, putting pressure on both businesses and consumers. Although overall growth remains modest, stagnant wages and heightened prices have already started to dampen consumer spending. Businesses in consumer-facing sectors such as retail and hospitality are now relying more on discounts and promotions to attract cautious buyers. In the auto industry, many are opting to repair older vehicles rather than buying new ones, an indicator of heightened financial prudence. Simultaneously, hiring energy has softened. Companies are hesitant to refill open positions amid uncertain demand, shrinking profit margins, and further cost inflation from tariffs. This trend shows a dual squeeze: businesses struggling to maintain margins and consumers cutting back, especially in big-ticket categories like auto purchases. Such behavior suggests a retrenchment in discretionary spending, with repair and minimal spending becoming more prevalent. From a personal finance standpoint, this signals a shift toward prioritizing needs over wants, sticking to tighter budgets, and delaying or avoiding major purchases. Sluggish hiring and modest inflation. Unsteady ground for consumers. A broader economic picture emerges in the latest beige book coverage through the 25th of August, 2025, which paints a sluggish economy. Firms are reluctant to hire due to weaker consumer demand and ongoing trade uncertainty. Tariffs, while not the only driver of inflation, are contributing modestly, and AI is beginning to substitute for labor in some roles. Slower hiring is also compounded by a decline in immigrant labor. The overall result, a labor market that appears stable on the surface, but with growing signs of strain beneath. For individuals, a subdued hiring market means job security concerns rise, and wage growth may stagnate. Securing new employment or negotiating raises becomes harder. Consumers might feel vulnerable, prompting more conservative financial decisions, building emergency savings, avoiding new debt, and delaying spending on non-essential items. Notably, market speculation now strongly favors an imminent interest rate cut, expected during the Fed's the 16th of September and 17 meeting, as policymakers grow more concerned about employment than inflation. The shift could slightly ease borrowing costs, potentially influencing household decisions around loans and debt. Consumers appear gloomy, but spending tells a different story. Amid widespread narrative of consumer gloom, Bank of America Institute data uncovers a surprising resilience in U.S. household finances. Despite sinking sentiment, which is influenced by tariff uncertainty, labor market pressures, and policy ambiguity, actual consumer behavior has held strong. Tracked across 70 million customers, metrics show robust spending, growing savings, and active debt repayment. Indeed, higher income groups continue to lead the way, buoyed by wage gains and stock market improvements. This divergence between sentiment and behavior is striking. While people feel uneasy, they're still spending, albeit selectively, and managing to repay debt or save. That suggests consumer finances are more resilient than mood alone indicates. For individuals, it points to opportunities. Even if confidence feels shaky, continuing disciplined spending and savings habits may be helping maintain stability. However, the benefits are unevenly distributed. Lower-income households face slower wage growth and rely more on credit, though they're in a better balance sheet position than pre-pandemic. Middle class feeling squeezed. Spending retreats amid rising costs. Households earning between $50,000 and $100,000, traditionally a strong middle-income group, are now reporting sentiment levels comparable to low-income cohorts. Rising living costs, inflation, and tariff-induced uncertainty are prompting these households to pull back on discretionary spending. Many are turning to discount retailers like Walmart, Kohl's, or Dollar General, switching to generic brands, or delaying services such as vehicle repairs or cosmetic procedures. By contrast, wealthier consumers continue spending on luxury goods and travel, sustaining demand in certain segments. This divergence underscores a widening divide. While affluent groups maintain discretionary spending, middle-income earners are growing cautious, signaling softness in the broader consumer market. Financial stress rising among U.S. workers. Debt and wellness front of mind. A Bank of America survey conducted in May among over 1,000 full-time workers reveals a marked decline in financial well-being. Only 47% now report feeling financially healthy, down from 52% earlier in the year. Nearly 85% of respondents carry some form of personal debt, and 26% are actively seeking help, double the rate in 2023, for expenses, debt reduction, or emergency savings. Even so, longer-term optimism remains. Nearly 70% feel positive about their financial future over the next 3 years, though short-term confidence is waning. Meanwhile, 77% express concern about the broader economy. Workplace stress is also rising as financial worries start to bleed into productivity, with debt anxiety increasingly distracting employees. This has prompted some employers to expand financial wellness programs, recognizing that supporting employees' financial health can aid retention and productivity. Summing it all up, what this means for your personal finances. Taken together, this week's stories reveal an economy in transition, where high prices, stagnant wages, and tariffs are straining household budgets and pushing the middle class to cut back on discretionary spending, even as wealthier consumers keep spending in areas like travel and luxury goods. This contrast highlights a fragile confidence. Surveys show widespread pessimism and rising financial stress. More than half of workers now describe themselves as financially unwell, yet spending patterns remain resilient for some. At the same time, businesses are slowing hiring amid tariff-driven cost pressures, raising concerns about job security and wage growth. With the Federal Reserve expected to consider a rate cut soon, households may see some relief on debt costs, but the broader sense of economic unease persists. For individuals, the best response may be to focus on resilience, tightening budgets, building savings, managing debt carefully, and preparing for changing interest rates, as these small, deliberate steps can help weather the accumulating pressures of a slowing economy. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to this channel. We'll keep sharing more personal finance-related news, insights, and tips that I'm sure will help you. Thank you very much.